One ought every day at least to hear a little song, read a good poem, see a fine picture and, if it were possible, to speak a few reasonable words.
Welcome to Derry Londonderry, UK City of Culture 2013. Welcome to the show. This is the city's Guildhall. It's our town hall where our elected city council sits, and it's here where many important decisions are made that relate to the everyday running of the city.
Built of red sandstone in the neo-Gothic style, it's one of the most aesthetically striking buildings in the northwest of Ireland. It's just undergone a £9.5 million restoration and is now open to the public. So when you visit the city, you must call in. Coming up on the show today,
we take a tour on the city's latest sightseeing attraction.
We look at art from photography to public sculpture and even graffiti.
And we talk to the man who wrote our theme tune, Snow Patrol's Johnny McDaid. But first, the past few years have seen the city change beyond all recognition. What better way to see all the new attractions than from an open-top bus? Shane McCaul's been taken in the sights.
I'm here outside Derry's Visitor and Convention Bureau, the city's main tourist information office to you and me. I'm just about to board the city sightseeing tour bus. It's a great, relaxing way to get to know the city. Well, Rory, how long's the bus tour been going around the city then?
The company that I work for have been operating for now a number of years under the name of Top Tours Ireland.
Okay.
And it was a smaller company than this year. And they could see the potential in tourism in this city. This year is a great year for Derry. We've had the City of Culture. We had one big weekend. We've also been nominated for the Maurice and Harron, first time ever in Derry. So there's a lot of inspiration, a lot of confidence being built in the city here for tourism. So the two owners that own this company, they felt inspired by it, and they decided to bring the world franchise City Sightseeing Tours to Derry. What's the great reasons for using City Sightseeing in Derry? One, great way to learn the history of our city, great way to see the fine sights of our city, but it can be used as a shuttle service. It's not just a tour. If you look here now, we're stopping off at our stop number 2 here. And some of the things that we can offer our visitors, if you just go up the street here, we've got St. Colum's Cathedral, we've got St. Augustine's Church, we've got the Apprentice Boys Memorial Hall. If you fancy a lovely bit of lunch, you've got the Sandwich Company here, and then we have Austin's of the Diamond, 180 years old, the oldest department store in the world.
So it's a real group effort, there's local businesses linked into this?
We're working with everybody. If you look here to your left, you've got the City Sightseeing sign just outside this cafe here, and other things. Everybody's working with us, they're encouraging us, and likewise, we're bringing people in. But what we're doing here now is we're pulling into the next stop 3. We're going to send people into our city hall, the Guildhall. You know, there's local cafes that people could go for a nice cup of coffee. Someone wants to go for a nice pint of Guinness. There's bars within the area as well. So we're kind of facilitating the broader tourism sector within our town.
And you just mentioned the Guildhall. It's just been restored.
Great asset for the city. A lot of history there. It dates back to 1890. You know, it's the heart of the centre of the town here. Been in there, met all the new staff working in there, all great. A lot of young people as well, you know, enthusiastic to show off this great city.
We're from England, just outside Manchester.
And what's brought you over to Derry?
We've come as a foursome, we're both in the motorhomes and we just fancied coming. We've done a lot of Scotland, just fancied coming to Ireland, somewhere different.
And everybody's been so friendly.
Just noticed that?
Yeah, everybody is just, everybody you speak to.
Very friendly, very helpful.
Very helpful.
we've already had the two bridges, now we have the Peace Bridge. You know, when the Peace Bridge was built, there's people who would never have crossed the river to go to St Colum's Park or to the Everington site. Now everybody would cross here. So, for example, city sightseeing tours, Derry Londonderry, we don't just do tours in the city side. We are trying to encourage tourism to the other side of the river as well. The Everington site here, which is wonderful, great place. The BBC Radio one big weekend spent there, and St Colum's Park. We're also going into Nelson Drive, telling the story of the Loyalist community as well. City sightseeing, we're offering packages. That's what we're doing. We're basically saying to people, come here, we'll organise your package for you. We'll show you the best places to go. We'll give you the best tours and the best that there is to offer.
Excellent. Thanks very much.
You're very welcome. You're very welcome, sir.
So we're just coming back to base camp here. Personally, I hadn't been on the tour before, but I can thoroughly recommend it. It's been a really, really nice afternoon. So if you're heading to Derry, come onto the city sightseeing tour bus.
Thanks Shane, that was a great tour. Behind me here in the entrance hall is the Siege window, a magnificent stained glass artwork depicting images from the siege, a historically significant battle that took place here 400 years ago. Close by is the Void Gallery, which recently hosted an exhibition titled Picturing Derry, a collection of photographs taken during the more recent Troubles. Both local and international, amateur and professional photographers and artists contributed to the exhibition. The gallery attracted hundreds of visitors to see these images together for the first time. Our VT opens with a story from local amateur photographer Eamon Mallock.
This man and I fought many a duel on the streets of Derry. This photographer, this guy and I photographed each other almost on a daily basis. There was this conflict going on between us all the time, and he was quite good humorous about it. Nice to give him the fingers, okay. That was naughty of me, wasn't it? That was naughty, but I didn't try to take his life.
This is the opening of an exhibition project, Picturing Derry, which is the first project to bring together works of the international photojournalists who visited the city during the Troubles, alongside works of local people who themselves were documenting the everyday life around them. It is specifically the Troubles, so in this room, for example, you have the works of Gilles Oran, who, like any top-end photojournalist, was here in August '69, when literally the first stone was thrown of the Troubles.
My father came here in 1969. When he came, he didn't know what was happening, and he was very surprised to see the Catholic and the people moving and preparing cocktail Molotov and things. He disappeared in Cambodia in 1970. He went there to make picture of Pol Pot, and he disappeared. But nobody knows exactly what happened with him.
I only have one piece of work here, you know. It's a two-part work, it's a diptych. So I was kind of really looking at the weather as a kind of metaphor for looking at an idea of drabness, of greyness, of something that was like everyday, and also that kind of sense of in the winter when it's like one grey day after another and kind of rain and drizzle. There seems to be no escape from it. And it felt almost as oppressive as the presence of surveillance. So I was trying to make work that was about that way of living alongside something that was, occasionally very immediate, but often just kind of in the background.
My first batch of red photos, I done them all in the bath, you know, and dried them off with methylated spirits and all that. And when I seen the first images coming out, oh God, it was superb. Then it was all just for me. And then as the years went on, I see what I have, you know, and exhibitions now and again, you know, and it just brings it all back.
This exhibition is an amazing excavation of history but art together. It's a fraught subject in itself, and no more so anywhere than in Northern Ireland. The history, you know, is fought over, and is still argued to be discussed, and the photography is part of that. photography is a very interesting relation to reality. You know, my favourite quote is Picasso's, "Art is a lie that tells the truth." So every photo is a lie, but it tells the truth as well. It tells the truth in a very intimate way that's just so vivid. So you get to stand with these kids, you know, and you get to look into the eyes of this boy who, you know, is about to throw a petrol bomb, or there's a couple of petrol bombs here actually ready to go.
There's a tour to the Browse Photo Festival in Berlin, which is a photo festival of some renown for like photojournalism. So like what we're doing for that is bringing over the local photographers' work to it. And then in August, there's an exhibition in the Grand Hall of Stormont, which will take a selection of this whole group. And as part of an overall project led by the Nerve Centre with EU funding in collaboration with the City of Culture 2013, which makes links between this work and works from Mostar, looking at Lat as a war-torn society, and works from Berlin, looking at Lat as a city which was divided by conflict itself. What we've tried to do is give especially the local photographers like a quality of print and a quality of framing and a quality of presentation that perhaps their work hasn't seen before. So it's a definite resource for the city that we want to follow up on.
What a great exhibition. Here is a story that begins in 1590 and ends in 1700. It's an exhibition of the plantation of Ulster that's currently running here in the Guildhall. It's a mix of photographs, text, drawings and interactive screens informing us of centuries when great change was forced upon the people and landscape of Ulster. Which leads me on to introduce you to someone who, although not nearly to the same degree, has nonetheless made his own impact on both the people and landscape here. He is Maurice Harron, a public art sculptor. We caught up with him in conversation at the London Street Gallery.
I believe I drew before I could talk, so drawing was my thing really. And when the nuns of Francis Street brought me across the road to draw on the blackboard for the girls' school, that was a big accolade for me. St. Colum's, you could be a priest or a teacher, and I was never not good enough to go for either option. But when I'd left the school, at the end of all exams that summer, somebody mentioned to me that there was an art college. I never heard of an art college. I went on to qualify as a teacher. I've taught since 1970, 5 years ago.
You're very conscious, and of course you have to be, because your work is in public spaces. People are seeing it every day, touching it every day, but you're very conscious that first of all you want to make your work accessible to the people who are going to be living in the same environment as it. And secondly, that once it's there, it's not yours anymore.
I sort of always imagine the woman going to the shop, or the man going over to the hospital, or the children going to school, passing this thing. And, I think they're not interested in art. These are people who are no interest in that at all. They're thinking about other things. So I'm putting something in front of their face. They're driving past in the car or the bus. For me, it would be a terrible thing if somebody said, "What's that?" Mm. Most of these public works come out of a lot of consultation, thought, the context, where it's at. Hands Across the Divide is a deliberate political sculpture in its day.
And it's very naturalistic as well.
It's very classical. Classical art is very formal. It's formal and it's clear. There's a clarity to classical art. The visual arts are a medium of communication. We're using a language to get across a feeling or a meaning or a story. But they can be used as a secret too. They can be used to put down a feeling and yet protect yourself. It's not that clear. The looker has to have a certain amount of feeling and sensitivity in themselves to begin to find out what is going on here, allow to explore the thing. So it's both communication and protection.
Fantastic work, and we look forward to much more from Maurice in the years to come.
We've much more to come on the show, but first it's time now to take a look back at some great City of Culture events from the past month.
BBC Radio 1's Academy came to the Nerve Centre with a week-long programme of masterclasses and Q&As. Young people got the chance to train on industry standard equipment and even meet their favourite Radio 1 presenters.
To mark the 400th anniversary of the unique relationship between Derry Londonderry and the City of London, a new musical cantata was commissioned from two of the world's leading creators in words and music. At 6s and 7s was performed simultaneously in London and right here in the Guildhall.
Flavours of the Foyle was a seafood lover's dream. Local producers came together to sell their wares and give away a few of their secrets, all under one roof.
And Glasgowbury, the County Derry Festival of Local Music, said goodbye to Eagles Rock in the last year of its existence, with a headline set from County Down rockers The Answer.
Graffiti has had a bad press over the years, being associated with gang culture and crime, but it's one of the oldest forms of public art in the world. The international graffiti scene is huge and spans major cities like New York and London.
For the City of Culture, artists from the United States and Germany came together with local graffers at Switch Skatepark. Here's how they got on.
Well, this is a gathering of artists from all around the world. We start at the end, we've got some of the Belfast guys and some of the local young Derry guys who are up and coming, and then we've got Edinburgh, we've got myself here representing the local, we've got Galway, Dublin, London, Livingston, Edinburgh again, Glasgow, Cork, Drogheda, New York, London, Cambridge, Sligo, Belfast, France. So it's coming from everywhere, and this is a showcase to show Derry and show the young people that there's other way. The bad stigma that is attached to the word graffiti alone, you know, this is just proving the point that a lot of people say we're not artists, but you just have to take a look around the day and see the age and experience and the work that actually goes into trying to create these pieces of art.
In the mid-80s, this whole culture came over from New York, in a package, breakdancing, the DJ and all the art came from New York and was presented here as a package, and it kind of spoke to me as a kid, and I picked up as breakdancing originally, but I was really attracted to painting on the walls, and I always drew as a kid, so it was kind of followed on from that, and started scribbling on walls in my hometown, and getting bigger and bigger and better, and then I realised there's a whole network of people around the globe doing the same thing.
I started painting in the South Bronx. I got into graffiti due to the gang situation that was going on, and I kind of got drafted into the gangs behind graffiti. And I remember I used to have to tag up my name and the gang name, and that's how I got in. Graffiti is like the only media that crosses all boundaries: age, race, religion, political views. You know, right now we have such a diversity of people here in this area right now that are from different places with different belief systems and everything, but we're here together, painting together and expressing ourselves, you know?
I think that misconception is there a lot of the time, that it's like, oh yeah, they're going around pushing people around and doing X's on walls and whatever, but that's not the truth, you know, and I think when the kids see that it's a lot more about the art, I think that's better for the city in general. Most artists, they do their piece on their own. They're inside, they got a canvas, that's it. You might get a collaboration every now and again, but this art form, as you can see, from 100 yards of wall, everybody's working together. So you can't be selfish, you got to work, you got to say, the lad next to me saying he wants to use pink, so I'm going to use a bit of pink just to make a compliment. Rather than fighting against everybody and trying to be flash, you might as well try and work with everyone. I think that's a big thing that comes in the graffiti culture, you know.
For me, I just love it. I love it. I mean, it's so addictive. If you ask any graffiti writers the other day, once you get the bug, that's it. It's sort of all you think about, you know.
It's good to see graffiti get a good name for a change. I'm in the main hall or function room of the Guildhall. These windows tell the story of the city from Columkill, its founder, to the end of the First World War. This is where the famous annual Derry Feis is held. Anyone who made it big in music, song or dance in this city would have started out on this stage. There's a magnificent organ here with over 3,132 pipes. I know, I've just finished counting them. This town has a tradition of producing some of the best musicians and singers in the world. So much so, it's claimed there's something special in the air here, and this town continues to produce the very best in young talent. One young man who cut his teeth on this very stage is Johnny McDaid, a writer, musician, producer, engineer and recording artist. Now based in London and a regular visitor back home, he's proud of his city, but having worked abroad for some time, he offers an interesting perspective as he looks at his hometown from afar.
This is a pretty musical place. You know, it's very hard not to be around music with the face, with, you know, bands, growing up with bands like the Undertones, That Petrol Emotion. I had my first guitar lesson over there in what was called the Collective before the Nerve Centre, where John O'Neill taught me to play Teenage Kicks for 10p. My family were all very musical. My Uncle Charlie was a pretty well-known musician. He went off to live in New York and made his living out of music, and my Uncle Sean McBride was a pretty famous songwriter with the Homes of Donegal. You know, the times were bleak, but the thing is, this place was still home to me, and I only really recognised the bleakness of it when I left, and it had contrast. I went to London at 17, and it wasn't very long before, I think I got my first record deal when I was 20, so I was travelling from then really until now. My dad was a Derry man, and he loved this place so much. He was so proud of it, and he was actually, I look around the town now, and my father would never have spoken about it himself when he was alive, but he has such a legacy here. You know, for example, the bridge behind us here, my dad was part of the initiative to bring that to the town, and I remember he told me about it, and there were a few naysayers at the time, and he always had this sense of hope about him, where he said, you know, let's look at possibility, let's look at potential, instead of looking at what hasn't happened, let's look at what can. And so as a Derry man, I don't think there's anybody that loved the place more than he did. I think it's hard to look at people like Van Morrison or Paul Brady, and, you know, even more recent bands, you know, bands like Therapy, and in Derry now you've Little Bear, everything from Small Town America, and so many things that are coming here that feel authentic to me. And there must be a reason for that. I think for such a small place, Northern Ireland has produced a massive of talent and a massive kind of... Oh, is that an undertone? You're 5 minutes late. I told you you'd be here 5:15.
Oh, my watch is wrong. Sorry, Johnny, my watch is wrong. I must get that fixed. Are you back for long?
No, I'm back till Monday, back out to LA again on Monday.
Are you recording?
We're doing a bit of writing.
Excellent. Right, I'm away because I've got a barbecue to go to.
Go barbecue?
Over in our house. I have to get the sausages on.
All right,
Johnny, good to see you
again.
again. Watch yourself.
Take care. All right, bye-bye. When you mention the Undertones here, they appear. That's one of the quirks of Derry. I couldn't stop listening to Teenage Kicks. I think the song is the most perfectly crafted pop song. It's a model for pop writing, and they wrote it when they were 17. You know, that's as young as I was when I left home, and I could barely write my name on a bag of a pizza box. Derry's capable of a whole lot, and the people here are capable of even more yet. If I was to ask the culture company to do anything, it would be keep that in mind, and keep in mind that there's more. There's so much more to be mined here. Just keep going. Don't stop. Don't let it stop. Ask the people here now that they feel like they feel what they want, and I bet you they say they want it to continue.
A big thanks to Johnny for taking the time to speak to us, and to Mickey for dropping by.
We're sitting in the newly refurbished council chamber, finished in oak, which is synonymous with the city. It's time now to take a look at what's coming up in the City of Culture programme in the months ahead.
It's been 20 years since the first Foyle Pride event in the city, and the LGBT community celebration will be bigger than ever this year. The parade itself is a spectacular and colourful event with a carnival atmosphere. The festival kicks off on the 20th of August.
Boy Blue wowed the crowds at the launch of the City of Culture programme last year. They're back in October at the Millennium Forum for their new show, Manga, an original story combining hip-hop, manga design and martial arts.
The Foyle Film Festival celebrates its 26th year in November. One of only a handful of international festivals with Oscar affiliation, the festival showcases international feature films and has an exciting programme of shorts, documentaries and animations.
World professional kickboxing champions Pint Quigley, Aidan Lights Out Lafferty and Donegal lady Natalie the Blade McCarron will be in action at the World Kickboxing Tournament at the venue in November. This will be the biggest ever kickboxing and K1 event to be held in Ireland.
We'll leave you now with a song by local musician Chris McConaughey, better known as our Krypton son. This is Catalonian love song. From Derry Londonderry, till next time, it's goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Lovers are watching the breeze roll by, and I'm not too fearful of anything at all, but I'll never let you out of my sight. Catalonian love song. Catalonian love song. It's not a question of why didn't we. Oh, there aren't any questions for you or for me. And the rain is relentless, and it runs down the street, and we run to cover our heads when no one can. Been a long time coming. Yes, you have. Yes, you have. Will you take my hand down the back streets? Lovers are watching the leaves drip dry,